Paul Verhoeven here with your episode recap of Doctor Who Robot of Sherwood, and much like a rabbit filled with helium, this episode was light and fluffy. Because he's filled with helium. That's the joke. If I had to sum this episode up in one word, I'd say nice. And there's nothing wrong with nice after being beaten over the head with just how dark this Doctor's going to be. So we basically got a small, concentrated slice of escapism. The episode kicks off with the Doctor doing math on a blackboard for some reason, and then he asks Clara where she wants to go, and she says, "I've always wanted to meet Robin Hood." The episode is basically the Doctor trying to prove to Clara that heroes don't exist, thereby proving that heroes do in fact exist, and that he is one. I would say one of the highlights of this episode is seeing the Doctor be good at things for once, because Matt Smith's Doctor was kind of Mr. Beanish. He was inept, and that ineptitude, in a drunken master kind of way, sent him stumbling towards victory, whereas Capaldi's Doctor is in control of his shit, which is really nice. We do also see this recurring spoon motif in the episode. One of the first things he does is turn away from Clara and lick the remains of something delicious off a spoon. The spoon, by the way, is a callback. It's a very, very big callback to the 7th Doctor who played the spoons, so it's a nice kind of callback to classic Who. But it's also sort of evidence that even though the Doctor is grumpy and a bit of a creep, he does have a lighter side, even though he tries to hide it. He also then goes on to sword fight with a spoon, which might be one of my favourite scenes in the entire episode. Robin Hood himself is really great. Very charming, very funny, incredibly sexy, and we eventually get to the tournament, the famous tournament where Robin has to win the Golden Arrow by winning an archery contest. I really enjoyed this scene. Of course, that's where the big reveal happens. We get to see that the Sheriff of Nottingham has been working all along with giant robots who, whenever they're angry, shoot cross-shaped lasers out of their heads. By the way, I realise I really should have said when they're cross, they shoot cross-shaped lasers out of their heads, but I appear not to have put that in. We then find the Doctor and Clara trapped in the Sheriff's dungeon with Robin Hood. It's kind of where Mark Gatiss gets to do some of his best writing. The banter between the Doctor and Robin is really just top-notch. This story is basically about the Doctor denying the existence of Robin Hood and trying to prove to Clara that Robin doesn't exist. Now, what this actually does is set him off on a journey of discovering that it's kind of okay to be heroic, and there's a really nice moment at the end where he's in the dungeon and he does kind of come into his own, and the woman who later turns out to be Maid Marian kisses him on the cheek, and he almost breaks character because there's no one around, and he touches his cheek, and there's this really lovely tender moment where he does sort of enjoy being a hero again. We also find out that the castle is a crashed ship full of robots heading for the Promised Land, which is once again a call forward to Stephen Moffat's finale reveal of sorts. And then, of course, the Doctor finally gets it. He gets that Robin isn't a robot. He gets that Robin Hood is real. And the title of the episode is brilliant. Calling the episode Robot of Sherwood effectively sets the viewer off on the same misconception that the Doctor is set off on, that this is somehow fake. So it's one of the first titles of a Doctor Who episode that actually forms part of the narrative. And of course the episode ends beautifully. We effectively have Robin and the Doctor shaking hands outside the TARDIS, and then Robin tells the Doctor that it's okay to be a good guy. And the Doctor kind of rolls his eyes, dematerializes, and it's revealed that he's actually delivered Maid Marian back to Robin. It's a really beautiful moment, made all the more beautiful by the fact that Clara isn't there to see it, so the Doctor's sort of doing it for himself. At this point, Robin and the Doctor kiss passionately. I may have imagined that last part. It felt nice to go back to a Doctor Who episode reminiscent of, let's say, when the 10th Doctor and Martha went back and met William Shakespeare. It was a show about time travel and about the possibility of time travel. Shall we go and see a famous figure from history? Sure, why not? And then they get into adventures and they piss off in the TARDIS afterwards. It was light and it was breezy and I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it didn't have to be. So all in all, really good. It's been a great season so far. I feel it's sort of 3 for 3, so, you know, Robot of Sherwood, thumbs up. I'll be back next week with a recap of an episode that, based on the trailer, looks profoundly creepy and will, in fact, contain a hot piping mug of Danny Pink. Loves me some Danny Pink. He's hopefully going to be a new companion. Anyway, if you'd like to subscribe, I have put a link around here somewhere for you to click on and subscribe to my channel. You can follow me on Twitter, and you can follow me on Instagram. The links to those are both below the video. And that's about it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next week.